Good morning, everybody. Exciting to have you here on this wonderful Monday morning. I guess this is May 8th. I want to welcome you to Level 1 Agent Attraction. We do this every week. My name is Eric Golden. I'm the host of these on a weekly basis. The first week of every month, we do sort of a free-for-all. I sort of host it. I teach people the general ways we attract agents. I want to remind everybody, if you really want to get started on agent attraction, whether you want to do it in the commercial area or in the residential, I do recommend you go back to a recording we did on January 2nd. It can be found at freedomteamsupport.com. I'll show everybody exactly where it is. But if you want to get the basics of agent attraction, it seems like it's the absolute best 1 hour we've ever done on it. So why continue to do it again? freedomteamsupport.com. You're all part of what we call the Freedom Team. It's about 3,000 agents. And you can look across the top at all the things, especially the benefits. But if you slide down, you can find right here, right in the middle, Freedom Team Attraction Training Recordings. If you click on that and go to January 2nd, you will find a recording that you're not going to want to miss. Now, with that said, today we're going to highlight commercial attraction. And we have no better person to do that than a woman that was at the forefront of launching eXp commercial about 2 years ago, going on 2 years now. She was the director of eXp commercial, and now she is one of our founders here in the Freedom Team, the group that, again, leads on a regular basis. I want everybody to know on a daily basis, you get a tip of the day. Mine came in today. Make sure you listen. Thanks, Kelly, for the feedback. My tip was awesome, but you need to watch the video in order to understand what that is. Tim, I'm going to make you a co-host as well. But I'm super excited. I'm super excited about having Stephanie train this morning for a couple of reasons. She is well equipped to train on anything she chooses to train. But what she's done more of than almost anything else is attracted commercial agents to this company over the last 2 years as the commercial division launched, or the commercial company launched. I guess it's not even a division, it's just a division of Worldwide Holdings. She, again, was originally the director of eXp Commercial. She saw the light at the end of the tunnel being out in the field where it's just freer to do the things that we like to do. She's going to come today with her A game. A number of you are going to ask questions like, is this being recorded? And the answer is it is. If you want to know where to find it, again, it'll be posted in freedomteamsupport.com. It'll also be posted in our Freedom Team group in Workplace. And it will also be on our Freedom Team YouTube channel within the next day or so. You can always reach out to any of the Freedom Team founders on Workplace Chat to ask about anything. This would be one of them. But without any further ado, thank you so much in advance for what you're about to do, because you're about to light the world on fire. Stephanie Gilezan, preach, girl, preach.
Good morning, everyone. All right. You know, it's easy for me to attract to eXp Commercial. Why? Because I know that it is the best way and the best place to do commercial real estate. And the reason I know that is because spending years in this industry, you know, commercial real estate is made up of commercial brokerages that, no matter if you see their name across this entire country or multiple countries, they are in fact an independently owned and franchised silo. Okay. Commercial real estate is about doing business, commercial real estate business across the entire country. Very few commercial brokers and practitioners are local. Their business is everywhere, and they need the ability to be able to do business everywhere. And so we're going to dive into a lot of things that you've never even thought about. It's probably never come into your vocabulary whatsoever, and that's okay, because you're going to learn a lot today. But remember that commercial is not local, it's global, okay? Commercial real estate, true commercial real estate is a global practice. So the only place to do commercial real estate is at a global company that truly operates as one company, no matter if we're in the state of Kentucky, if we're in Florida, if we're in Puerto Rico, Canada, Spain, everywhere eXp is, we operate as one company. And that's what makes all the difference in the world. For years, especially the last 2 years, I've heard so many of you say, well, I know nothing about commercial real estate. How on earth can I attract to commercial real estate? Well, guess what, you guys and gals, you're the best ones to do it. Why? Because you understand how eXp Realty operates, and you can speak to the tune of, look at all the referrals and all the business that you all are sending out across this country, across these different states. Well, commercial real estate practitioners would love to tap into that if they understood what it is, right? So, you know, eXp, it is a brokerage. eXp, we are a brokerage, but more importantly, we are a platform of the most masterful networkers that you could ever tie yourself into, right? Now think about it, 88,000 mainly residential practitioners who know nothing about commercial real estate. It is a feast haven for all of us that understand it. It is an opportunity for all of us to scale and grow past anything and everything. And I'm going to ask whoever's unmuted to mute if you don't mind. But it is an opportunity for those in commercial to plug in to endless opportunities. And, you know, on several attraction calls, I've been on calls with Eric, I've been on calls with Tim, I've been on calls with a lot of different people. That's exactly what I speak to, because commercial real estate, we get into that because we're numbers people. Okay. We're numbers people. We love our bottom line to mean something. And this is that opportunity at eXp Commercial for the bottom line to explode and mean a whole lot more than anything that they're ever going to have plugged into prior to. So I've put together slides today. I'm going to get through this and we're going to have a lot of time for questions and answers. My first slide says exactly what it is. This is for internal use only. Do not share. Why do I say that, guys? Because I don't want you sending this out to a potential person that you're looking to attract. This is your coaching mechanism so that you do it appropriately. So don't ever give away your game plan, okay? So when we upload this to Workplace later today, no one, I mean no one, send this to a potential recruit or a potential broker or agent you're trying to bring in, because this is for internal use only, for you to have the guide to make yourself successful. You know, I'm going to start with, well, eXp Commercial's new. No, guys, listen, eXp Commercial, yes, in the last 2 years, that's when it was birthed. It was actually opened on November 1st of 2020. We started working on it February of 2020 behind the scenes. I know because I was that person behind the scenes working on it. But eXp has made a huge amount of success in just a short time. The fastest growing commercial brokerage to ever launch in history. We did that within the first 6 months. We had attracted over 500 commercial brokers. And to eXp Realty standards, that seems teeny tiny and small, because eXp Realty, we got 88,000 agents. But let me tell you something. The largest commercial brokerage in the entire globe is CBRE. And in the entire globe, CBRE has 717 licensed real estate professionals. All right. So we are a large commercial brokerage. eXp Commercial is built for commercial real estate, business brokering, and ancillary services. Why is this important? At eXp Realty, residential has RESPA. At eXp Commercial, we're doing commercial real estate. We're doing business sales. We get to make additional money on ancillary services. We get paid on loans. We get paid on closings. We get paid on everything. We know how to skin a cat 99 different ways to make money. And so you're going to come across commercial brokers that are going to say, well, what about ancillary services? And the answer is, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay, you may not understand exactly what that means, but yes, the answer is yes. In residential, you can't make money off of loans with RESPA, but in commercial, that rule doesn't exist. Okay. I say this and I put this big on this screen because I wanted you to be able to see this and remember it. We are one brokerage, not a franchise. You hear that on the eXp Realty side. It is much more important on eXp commercial side. And this is why you've got to speak to this constantly. When you're speaking to agents that might be at Remax Commercial or Coldwell Banker Commercial or Colliers or NAI or SVN or Sparry, any of those, they are with a franchise, okay? Doesn't mean anything. They're renting a large company name. But when we get further into this presentation, you're going to see where this matters. And so remember to speak to it all the time. So we're one brokerage, no matter where we're located, because we are. My number one favorite trigger question with anybody, I go right in for the gamut. And I say, what did you pay your broker last year? Because it's the only question that matters. You know why? Because in commercial real estate, our deals are much larger, okay? Every commercial company out there is charging on average 50% split. Some are doing a 60-40, some might get to a 70-30. But when you take 30% of $500,000 in commission, it is much more than the $20,000 cap eXp Commercial has. 80-20 split, $20,000 cap. That's what you all are used to saying. But here's the way you're going to say it. Once you make 100,000 in gross commission income, you're 100%. That's how commercial people speak to one another. We speak in volume, okay? So yes, we're an 80-20 split with a $20,000 cap, but they're not going to understand cap unless they're coming from Keller Williams Commercial. So you're going to say, look, once you make 100,000 in gross commission income, you're 100%. That's the commercial way to say it. And it's only going to cost you $250 per month. That's what you get for the tools, $250 per month. Why is that important? We'll get into that in just a second. But also the international collaboration that eXp has. You're going to hear me say this over and over again. Commercial real estate is global. You need to have international collaboration. Right now, my team has deals in 4 different countries, plus the United States. We couldn't do that at any other model out there. When commercial practitioners reach out to me, they're like, how do you have business in Canada and Costa Rica and Dominican Republic? Well, because I'm with eXp and also because I'm brilliant. I do add that in there. But that is extremely important. In the first year in business, we made the top 15 as far as volume goes. Top 15 of companies. If they say, well, I haven't heard of eXp. Oh, well, you must not be following the top 15 list because we got there. We got ranked number 11 in the first year of business. So that's pretty impressive, right, you all? Now, here's where everything comes together. Right now, I have listings in 37 states. I have pending transactions in 21 states. I hold a license in the state of Kentucky and Indiana. Eric, do you have a question? You're muted. Who's you there? Eric, you're muted. You all good?
Yeah, I'm just trying to mute people. I apologize.
That's okay.
As we come in. Go ahead.
All right. All right. So where all of this comes together and why eXp is the only place to do commercial real estate, when people understand this, then they get it completely. But there is a thing called license portability, and it's a real thing. And I'm going to break it all down for you. I want you all to take pictures of these. I want you to embed these into your head. But what this map represents, the red states on this map are turf states. You must hold a license in order to do commercial real estate in those states. But the orange and the yellow states are open territory if you are with a brokerage that is open and licensed in those states. So here's where eXp Commercial trumps every brand out there, every brand. because they're not all open there. They're not all there with a license. eXp Commercial's open in all 50 states. We're licensed in all 50 states. We pay our brokers a salary every 2 weeks to hold that license so that license portability can be used. So what that means is I have currently, I think 40 some odd listings in Texas. I don't hold a Texas license, but our commercial brokerage of eXp Commercial does. And because Texas is a physical location state, and because eXp Commercial is there with a license and I'm affiliated, I get to use the Texas broker's license to sponsor my transactions and do the business and keep all of my commission. I'm not doing a referral. I'm not giving any money away. I am keeping that money. So let's break it down. This is license portability and why it matters and why we trump KW, we trump Sperry, we trump SVN, we trump NAI. These are all franchises. They're not open for business in each and every state like we are here at eXp Commercial. And so with the cooperative states, we can do business. With the physical location states, we can do business. Turf states are the only ones that are going to require a license to do business or me to have to do a co-broker agreement and get another eXp Commercial licensee in that state to help me out with that deal. I can still do the deal, but they've got to go on the contract. So this is where, when you explain this in this manner, this is where everything changes. It's not about rev share, even though we have it. It's not about the stock, even though we have it. Those are the sprinkles on the cupcake. Those are the extra little gift. But this is the true gift. This is the true way where commercial brokers and practitioners can truly scale their business in a way they cannot do at any other firm that is on earth. No other firm on earth can do what we're doing when it comes to commercial real estate and honor license portability the way it was intended and written to do. License portability has been around since 2006. Since 2006. But no real estate company has modified themselves to really complete it the proper way. And this is how we do it. And so imagine when you're reaching out and you're having conversations with commercial practitioners and you're like, look, you're right. I'm in residential real estate. I don't know the first thing about commercial real estate, but what I need is a commercial partner, because in my organization, we have over 3,000 residential experts that have no person to refer their commercial deals to, right? Isn't that a great conversation piece? You know, in commercial real estate, I start out with, what'd you pay your broker last year? And what are you doing with your deals in these other states? And majority of them are going to say, well, I have to refer those away, or they'll say I have to give those away. Because when you're looking at a company like NAI Global, Remax, KW, SVN, Sperry, Colliers, all of those companies, Marcus and Millichap, all of those companies are franchise-based companies. And so just because they're open in, let's say, Orlando, Florida, well, a different franchise owner owns the one in San Diego, California. And so then they're forced to have to give that deal to the San Diego location because they own that territory. Now, I want to pause here. I said we'll have questions at the end, but I want to pause here because I want to make sure everybody's understanding this. Is there any questions in the chat, Eric?
Yeah, there's, well, first thing, and I'm going to go in an order. First question was, question today will be, how do I start commercial if I'm residential under eXp? First question. If they're residential right now, how do they become commercial, or can they do commercial if they're residential?
Yeah, I mean, you can do commercial deals at eXp Realty. You absolutely can. You know, eXp Commercial is a different brokerage, okay? eXp Commercial, the big difference between eXp Commercial and eXp Realty is at eXp Realty, you're a realtor. At eXp Commercial, you are not. And so if you do residential and commercial, you need the MLS. at eXp Commercial, there is no MLS. It's for true commercial practitioners. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so go into the broker of your state, discuss with them what you were
Yes.
looking to do, and talk to them, because it's all governed by the residential and or commercial broker of each state, right? So
That's
that.
correct. That is
Another
correct.
comment, the only other comment was CBRE is not a franchise with a question.
CBRE is not a franchise. Now, look, here's the difference though, okay? There's CBRE, the national company. Then there is what's called CBRE affiliates. CBRE affiliates are in fact franchises. There's about 19 of them in the United States. So they are not all corporate owned CBRE. Coldwell Banker used to be what CBRE is now. Coldwell Banker Richard Ellis is what it was way back in the day. There's still some of those around. I'm actually speaking with some up in Minnesota. They are in fact a franchise, but majority of them are in fact employees. And no, you're right. They are a corporate company, but there are some that are still franchises.
And the only last one is, since no one's going to send this around, people wanted to take a snapshot of the map you just did a minute ago. Can you back up one slide, if you will? Let people take a picture of that if you'd like them to. Again, there we go.
Guys, we will circulate this. What I'm telling you is not to send this to a person you're trying to attract.
So there's 7 states that don't have portability, the rest tend to. So, okay, continue.
Correct.
That's all the question.
Can I ask just a really quick question, Stephanie?
Go ahead,
I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I understand turf state. So a commercial real estate agent has to physically have his own license, whether he's with eXp or not, in those
Correct.
turf states. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. A turf state, yes, you have to hold a license in order to do a real estate transaction in those states.
If you're an eXp agent in Colorado, you cannot have a listing in Utah unless you own a license, a license for Utah.
That's right.
Okay. Very good.
Perfect.
Keep going. Thanks, Darren.
All right. Another great thing about eXp and where you get the magnitude, you all have heard me say before, I don't do presentations. I have conversations. Nothing's wrong with presentations. It's just my form and how I do them. And so one of my big things that I do is, as I'm speaking to these hot topics, is what I call them. How much did they pay their broker last year? And I'm speaking to the network of what eXp Realty is and how they can plug into it. I'm opening up and I'm showing them workplace. I am physically showing them how easy it is to get plugged in, to start communicating, and to start building a business inside of eXp with referrals. And so workplace is a huge opportunity for them to be able to see it, because these guys are coming from companies that don't have these internal communication tools that we have. And so this is a way that you can truly open it up. $8.2 billion in referrals happened last year from eXp Realty over to eXp Commercial. $8.2 billion in referral volume. That's huge. Huge opportunity. When I'm speaking to people that, commercial's what they want it to be, they want to be focused in commercial, but they're not sure how to get started. Well, hey, that's great. There's so much training. Just like eXp Realty has all the live trainings, all the mega agents teaching, the conversations, all of the same thing happens on the eXp Commercial side. Anybody can plug into that. Anybody can come in, learn more about multifamily, hone in on all types of product specialties, because in commercial, look, there's generalists and then there's people that specialize. They specialize in one or two things, and that's what they want to be. But make sure you speak to that if they're looking to expand. The other big thing, and I throw this in here because on the realty side, we don't speak to this that much, or at least most people I know don't. But when we were starting eXp Commercial, we did a poll. We did an entire survey. We had over 3,000 commercial practitioners identified as commercial practitioners in the United States surveyed, and we asked simple questions. And one of those questions was, what do you do about healthcare? And, we were launching eXp Commercial through COVID, during COVID. Their offices were closed. And a lot of them didn't have health care. And so that is a huge selling point to make sure to inform them of that opportunity. I recruited an entire brokerage out of Rochester, New York, based on the health care because that was important to them. They didn't have a solution. And this was something that got them in the door to where I could then go further with them and eventually brought their entire brokerage to eXp Commercial. We learn, we do, we have all the equity, we have the stock shares. It's all the same when it comes to eXp Realty. Again, it's the sprinkles on the cupcake, okay? None of this is any different from eXp Realty, but it's important to mention, but it's not the primary thing to mention when you're talking to potential recruits. Rev share, same thing. I never get into the rev share until much, much further down the process. And majority of them have signed an ICA and then called me and said, what is this revenue share in the ICA? Then I go into detail with them, but it's not the top. It's not even in the top 10 list of importance when you're speaking to the commercial. They want to know, how do they grow their business? How do they make the most money? And how do they keep the most of their money? That's what their focus is. For the $250 a month, they're getting build out. They're getting Reonomy. That is national data access. These are tools necessary for commercial practitioners to have into the business. We also have SkySlope, very similar to yours, but inside of our SkySlope, we have AIR CRE forms, which gives them access to over 50 of the most used commercial forms out there, whether it's triple net leases, gross percentage leases, listings, sales, you name it, it's all in there. And so it's a special SkySlope specific to commercial real estate. Okay. So that's what that $250 a month. We can dive deeper into the tools, but true commercial people, when you say Reonomy, when you say build out, when you say AIR CRE, they know what that means. You don't have to be the expert in those at all. All right. Syndications. They're used to their stuff going on one or two websites for advertising. With eXp Commercial, we made sure that we syndicate out to multiple different advertising platforms so that they're getting even more exposure than the last company they were affiliated with. IBBA, if anybody's doing business sales, that's where you're selling the business. We're a part of the International Business Brokers Association, because remember, eXp Commercial is built for commercial real estate, but also business brokering. You do have to have a real estate license in order to join eXp Commercial, but we are attracting business brokers. And so that's another entire avenue of people that you can build relationships with and go after them. All right, Accelerate program. You all have the mentor program at eXp Realty. At Commercial, we have the Accelerate program. If somebody's new, they do get paired up with an advisor. The advisor is there to help them through these transactions. It's a little bit different than the mentor program at eXp Realty. You're not watching modules, you're actually doing deals, okay? Now, we're gonna dive into what are some of the best, what are some of the best practices for agent attraction, okay? I'm gonna break it down for you. You're going to find your own way, but this is how I do it. This is where I'm not going to say 100% because nobody is at 100%. Nobody's perfect. So I'm going to give myself a 90% score. 90% of all commercial practitioners that I speak to come to eXp. And if I focused in on that job 100% of my time, we'd have, I'd be getting probably 10 a week. Okay. Because it is not that hard. With all the selling factors and how they can truly scale and do their business here and keep most of their money, it's a no-brainer company. It's a no-brainer move for them, all right? But I'm reaching out and I am asking them about their business. I want to network. Commercial real estate is all about relationships. They have to build relationships in order to get deals. So they're looking to you to have that same relationship. So there's the mentality there. Does that make sense? Commercial people build relationships in order to do commercial real estate, okay? It's all relationship based. They're only going to speak to you if you're interested in building that relationship. So you've got to build the relationship first. You cannot just reach out and start blah, 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 EXPing is what I call it, because they're going to want to work and have conversations with people who have a meaningful reason behind the call or behind the reach out. Any confusion there? All right. Ask about their business. You're truly interested in their business. Ask them what are their areas or product specialties. Again, in commercial real estate, it's not houses and condos. It's multifamily. It could be industrial. It could be medical. It could be, ground up construction. It could be development. It could be, there's a lot of different specialties. We have people at eXp Commercial that only specialize in self-storage. Some of the biggest self-storage teams in the country, that's all they do is focus on self-storage, selling self-storage facilities. That's it. So find out what their area of expertise is. That's how you start building a relationship. And then how can you collaborate them? How can you show them the ability? Well, we go through and we talk about those things. Ask them those trigger questions. Remember, these are not feelings people. They're business people. Feelings are out the door. So ask them, by any chance, what'd you pay your broker last year? They'll tell you. If they're successful, they'll tell you, because when they tell you, they're pounding their chest because they all have these egos. And so it's not an offensive question to ask them. Now, don't spam people, especially in commercial real estate. That is exactly how you just get the ignore. They're going to ignore you. They want you to build that relationship with them. So start thinking about ways. Pay attention to the eXp Commercial calendar. There are so many different events going on every single week and every single month. But if you're reaching out to somebody, and let's say they're a multifamily specialist, then invite them to the multifamily call. The multifamily call is going on every single week. Go to the calendar, look for it. You can go to expcloud.com, and everything in black is the commercial calendar. Invite them to the call. Let them experience networking at its finest. So here's my trigger questions. The tools that eXp Commercial provides for the $250 per month are on average $1,800 per month. Okay. So ask them, what is their broker providing for them? And then how much are they paying for tools? Because the majority of brokerages aren't providing anything for them. They're having to pay a lot of money for those tools. My favorite question is, what limitations do you have at your current brokerage? The reason I like that question is because they don't know the answer. Why? Because they've never tried to do business in commercial real estate the way it was intended to do. And so you're going to have to drive that conversation a little bit and say, well, I know you're in Orlando, Florida, but do you do any deals in Texas? Do you do any deals in Minnesota? Do you do any deals in California? Get them to think bigger. People always want to make more money, but get them to think bigger. When you get them on that right track, that's when they start to get it. What is your referral network worth? How are they getting their business? Most of these guys that have been in the business a long time, they would love more than anything to build a team so that they weren't having to do everything. There's a lot of independent solo agents in commercial. But the reason why they don't ever build a team is because they don't want to be the ones training the juniors. Here at eXp Commercial, they can bring the junior on board, let corporate do all the training, and then just put them to work. We take that off their plate. And there's a lot of commercial companies out there like CBRE, JLL. They are traded. they're on the NASDAQ just like eXp is. The biggest difference though, is they don't give any stock equity to their agents or their licensees. They don't give any of that away. So that they never have the ability to earn any ownership in their existing brokerage. And the biggest one for me, branding. At all the commercial firms out there, it's all about that brand, Marcus and Millichap, Colliers, NAI, Sperry, SVN. They don't allow the brokers and the agents to brand themselves at all. And that's the biggest mistake most of these commercial practitioners have always made, is they've never built their own identity. And so for them, if they leave M&M, Marcus and Millichap, or Colliers, or NAI, or any of them, they have no identity because they never worked on their own brand. And so that's a huge one to point out. When we circulate this deck, I have live links built into this slide so that you can click on them. You'll have access to the eXp commercial presentation. You'll have access to eXp commercial YouTube. You will understand the tool deck and what a breakdown of what all of those tools are. If you want to learn more about them, there's an eXp commercial growth site that has all of these resources on it. And then also eXp commercial workplace group is a great one to make sure that you've joined on workplace. Everybody can be a member of it, but there's a lot of business going on those sites, and there's a lot of different groups on workplace. But that is a huge tool to use when you're doing a screen share and you're doing an attraction call with a potential recruit, because when they see it, that's when they get to understand it. So we'll make sure these slides do get uploaded. We have a marketing center just like Realty. There's a lot of these slides in here, guys. I'm not even going to worry about going over, but here's where I want to go back to more for attraction. I taught a LinkedIn class not too long ago here for Freedom Team on how I use LinkedIn to attract. And so I want you to incorporate these types of conversations into a way that you could start reaching out to commercial agents across the country, okay? Everybody knows how to log into LinkedIn, all right? You can click your filters, but eXp Commercial does a really good job on LinkedIn. And so make sure you are following eXp Commercial on LinkedIn. When they're posting all of these different events, whether it's the commercial symposium, whether it's the, a product specialty meeting, a get together in the world or on Zoom or wherever the case might be, they are constantly putting those events. And so one of the great things that you can do is click on those events and then go to the invite button and invite them to an event. Use LinkedIn to just invite them to experience an event. And it's a great way to get a conversation going, or a great way to have follow-up to those people. You all are real focused on eXp Realty, and you should be, but this is an untapped market. This is a very much untapped market of agents out there that, commercial real estate's changing by the minute, right? Interest rates are high. Right now, they're all looking to see when is their next deal going to come. So the most important thing for them is not to figure out how to make more money. It's to first help them figure out how to keep more of their money. And that's what this company does. All right, I'm going to pause there and we're going to open it up for questions.
One of the ways we could do this, first of all, Stephanie, amazing stuff. Really, really good stuff across the board. Air salute for everybody. Let me run through the chat box real quick, and then if there's additional ones, we'll have people. Do you have more content, Stephanie? So I know timing and budget-wise. You have some more to cover, or are we now to Q&A?
We're good. We're good.
Okay, so let's go through the Q&A. First question is by Melissa Toro. Melissa, if you're available, jump on real quick. Are you available? If
Yes.
not,
Hey, Eric. Yes, I'm here.
you said, how do I approach as a new agent solely being a commercial agent at eXp? What does that
Yes.
mean?
Well, yeah, I just started. So if I want to just go right into commercial and I just kind of don't I just want to specialize specifically into commercial. Do I just pay the desk fee? How do I transition to eXp commercial?
Go to eXp commercial in the world, or email info@expcommercial.com and tell them you want to migrate.
Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that means you want to move from residential to commercial, your license itself. Is that correct?
Yes, that was always my intent. So now that I'm learning more, I realize that that's possible. So yes, I'm that new. So this is really exciting. So I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Does residential and commercial use the same workplace?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Is the calendar specific to commercial only? No, the black sections is commercial. expcloud.com. Just look for the commercial items that are all in black. You've interchanged the words partner, agent, and broker. Are they universally exchanged in your lexicon? They don't, or do they mean specific things differently?
So, okay, so in commercial real estate, different companies call their agents different things. Okay. They could be an advisor, they could be an agent, they can be a broker, they could be a partner. All right. They're all equally the same. But when you're speaking to someone and they say, well, I'm vice president of, SVN. No, it's just because SVN calls all of their agents vice presidents to make them sound better than they are. That's it.
Great, thank you for that. A question, one of our agents is looking to possibly become an apprentice underneath someone with a CRA, a guy or a gal that's looking to retire and wants to use this as a recruiting technique in order to find that person. He's having trouble getting any response from anybody to talk to them. What would be your best mechanism, given you understand now, Stephanie, what Sean is looking to do? What's his best connection point to CREs that could potentially be retiring that might respond to him to become an apprentice?
I've brought on a lot of people to eXp commercial that do want to retire, but they still want to make money. Okay. Being an advisor, they make 50% of a transaction just being that advisor mentor to someone else. I spoke to a guy the other day in California, and by looking at his photo, I know that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but come on, sometimes it's a little bit obvious. And he was probably 81 years old, but he still wants to make money. So that's a loaded question, but at the same time, there's a lot of advisors not doing deals themselves, but they're advising junior agents in the business, and they're making a lot of money by doing it, right? And they're still holding their fishing pole.
What would be your 15-second elevator pitch if you're calling someone specifically and wanting to talk about them being able to ride off into the sunset while it's still a current track? What would you say to those people, Stephanie?
Oh, I would say, hey, John, how long have you been in the business? Right? When does John retire? Well, I still got to make money, right? We'll role play a little bit, Eric.
I still got, I'm never going to really retire because I've always got these things on the side and it's just too profitable.
John, let me ask you something. Commercial real estate obviously has been changing over the last few years. Literally, with all the technology, all the tools, we've got a lot of junior agents that want to be successful in this business. But the problem I have is I don't have enough of me to go around to mentor all of them. That takes time. So, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I play tennis, golf, and fish.
Okay, perfect. So while you're fishing and you're casting a pole, would you mind picking up the phone and taking these phone calls from these junior agents and you making 50% of the deal? Because that's what I need. I need people that want to coach and mentor, not find the deal, because they're finding the deals, but they need someone to hold their hand and get them through that transaction. Look, I've brought several people just like you to eXp commercial. They're making $250,000 a year, $500,000 a year, and they are still fishing every single day. but they're answering the phone. Is that something you're interested in?
Yeah, do you have a fishing guide as well? Because it sounds like then I could cover both sides of the equation. But thank you for that answer. Awesome. And we'll move to one more. Someone's on a domestic team. Can only one of them specialize on commercial? I'm thinking that's with two separate brokerages, because
Yeah.
residential is one, commercial is another. Again, get with your state broker to discuss any kind of uniqueness, because the state broker in both commercial and residential understands the laws in that state and what they can help you do. Any other questions? I know Darren's got one again on his dream boat. Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to understand how the whole system works with eXp commercial and residential. So does eXp commercial have like their own world that they go into? Is it separate than our world?
No, they still on a day-to-day operate an eXp world.
Okay.
When I was there, and I'm not corporate anymore, you all. It's been almost a year since I've been a corporate employee, but we built our own eXp commercial campus just to host events. And it was, so sometimes they'll do eXp commercial events and they'll tell you that it's in a different world, but every day, day-to-day, brokers, staff, all of that is in our eXp world. You go to the drop-down menu and you click eXp commercial.
And does the
same,
revenue?
workplace- I'm sorry, go ahead. Rev share is the same.
No, I was just gonna
Let me go through it. World's the same. Workplace is the same. Training can be done in different places, but again, the calendar is held together. The stock works the way they're different programs, but it works the exact same way. Rev share, you can recruit on either side. It doesn't matter whether you're a commercial agent recruiting a residential or residential recruiting. It's seamless in that regard. Okay, you're gonna get your split until they cap. So Stephanie, a question for you. If you sponsor a commercial agent, because the cap goes up to 20,000, you make an extra, right?
That's right. You make more money because the
make more money.
percentages are the same. The percentages on all the rev share is exactly the same per line. But if the cap's bigger, your rev share is bigger.
Okay, so you'll get another 33% on that. Darren, did we cover all the bases for you?
Yeah, you just answered my question. Thank you.
Cool. Anybody else have another question for Stephanie? If not, there'll be a question for me, and you're all thinking it. Where can we get this recording? So with that said, give us 48 hours to upload, and I want to show you some places to find it. The first place to find it would be, as typical, in Workplace, in the Freedom Team. You're all a part of it. If not, find Freedom Team or get a hold of one of the founders. You know who we are, right? We send you tips of the day every week and every day. And if you don't remember who we are, go back to your tips of the day. And I do recommend you watch them first thing every morning. Go to Freedom Team, and it'll be right down the feed, right in the middle, right here. That's where you'll find it. See, this is the promotion for it. See, now I can go in here, and because it's here, I'm going to delete it. Haha. And then we'll upload the actual presentation itself. For those of you that missed the ultimate listing presentation, we had a 4-week program on Wednesdays. It's phenomenal. You're going to want to review this stuff. It's ideal. The other place to find it, no question, is freedomteamsupport.com. It'll be uploaded right here in the middle as well. I want to remind you, get more transactions is always right here on the left. Again, Freedom Team Support. If you're sponsoring an agent on the residential side and you want some special white glove onboarding, click on this menu up here. You want to help with KV Core, click on the menu up here. These are all added value for being part of this Freedom Team. And if you've got stinking thinking, go to the brain bucket and start listening to really good stuff. Some of it's short, some of it's long, but it's all here at Freedom Team Support. And we also have it on the Workplace, Freedom Team Workplace. Jeff Farmer, we're back to you.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Stephanie, I just want to say hello. I'm coming on board in Kentucky from Simenon Realtors, and I currently pay for Crexy monthly to be a pro member with the build out program. Is there any reason I should remain a member of Crexy or just let build out do its thing?
No, I love Crexi. I am a massive I'm one of their pro brokers, and I would keep your Crexi, but you're going to get a discount when you join eXp Commercial, and so make sure that's something that we pay. We get 35% off of our Crexi. And I love Crexi, so I do most of my stuff on Crexi. So I would keep that if I were you.
Okay, thank you. Look forward to meeting you.
Yeah.
Real quick, we also have a question from Darren.
Yeah, this is just a quick one. So when we're talking to commercial real estate agents and we're needing like some support or maybe doing a 3-way call or something like that, where would be the best place for us to go to find someone to help us pitch them a little bit?
One of the things that I would do is get them to an eXp Commercial Explained, which happens every Thursday on YouTube. I would have a conversation. I'd say, look, I want you to come and watch this, and I would get them to that. That's going to be important to do. I'm not going to raise my hand and say, oh, that's me, because I can't physically do it, right? I can't do everybody's calls. But make sure they do watch a eXp Commercial Explained, because that's going to help out, I think, tremendously. And there's also a million videos out there. I just can't volunteer to do everybody's calls. Sorry.
Stephanie, do they do Q&A at the end of eXp Explained Commercial, or is that a recording?
It's live. So yes, you can ask questions.
Okay. The other thing is you can always reach out to people in eXp Commercial, in eXp World, to find
Yes.
someone that'll talk to your prospects, Darren.
That's
the other
right.
thing I'll remind everybody is you all have a natural upline founder in Freedom Team. If you're part of my specific group, come to me. We'll connect people together. Same thing with Tim. If you're part of Stephanie's group, of course, she'll help you in that regard. And by the way, she helps us all the time. I'm getting goosebumps for that. But I want you to know that you have a natural upline leader or founder in Freedom Team. Utilize them. They've got connections as well, Darren. Oscar, question for you. You're muted.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good morning, guys. Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate your time. I switched from eXp Realty to eXp Commercial about a year ago. I've been learning CoStar. Do you recommend CoStar or Crexi over one or the other one? Which tool will be better?
Oscar, I have them all. I've had CoStar for 20 some odd years. I don't really utilize CoStar that much. It's just something that I've kept. Crexi, I love the most. I do a lot of deals on Crexi and Build Out. I mean, those are my 3. And Reonomy. I love Reonomy.
Okay, and one more question. Where can we find a calendar for training on next week in Orlando, Ben? Is there going to be any training for commercial?
Yeah, I'm sure there is at Shareholder Summit. Yeah, there's a whole commercial track. Guys, I don't, it's funny. I lived that life for almost 3 years. I don't live that life anymore. So asking me that question, oh no.
You
can reach out on workplace chat, right? To the new director, the guy that runs it. You can reach out, they will respond very quickly, or you can go in eXp World and talk to them. They're going to have commercial things at shareholders, but you might want to check with them. Thank you very much, Oscar. You can put your hand down if you're done.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm done.
And then here's our calendar. Someone was having problems finding. Stephanie, guide me to where we would find.
Okay, so when I was there, we used to have everything in black that was commercial on purpose so that we could see it very quickly. And it looks like now it is in blue, which is the same color as eXp Realty. So that wasn't smart. There's eXp Commercial Explained tomorrow, or I mean on Thursday. There's national training.
Who might they reach out to? Who's the best connected? Let's flood somebody.
Lindy McNeese. Lindy McNeese. Don't you tell her I told you to reach out to her, though.
Lindy, Lindy, McNeese, McNeese.
Yeah, Lindy is Lyndee.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to close the last 5 minutes reminding everybody that, first of all, thank you very much, Stephanie, for all you've done. Tremendous presentation today. I am going to recommend to each and every one of you, even though commercial now looks easier than residential, there is a learning curve. There are things you'll need to learn, but it is a sweet blue ocean, if for those of us that understand the difference between a blue and red ocean. It's a blue ocean, and if you learn the strategy, learn it and run with it. So with that said, I want to remind everybody that as agent attraction goes, over the last 5 years, I've been here, and one of the things that we felt, or at least I felt we were missing, is some sort of target in agent attraction. And as I close out today, please stick with me for the last 4 minutes. I think this is vitally important. It's a training we do every Thursday at the exact same time, which used to be the level 2 training. It's now called the Freedom Chart training, and it's designed for people that want to make specifically $132,000 a year with our rev share plan. And the way it works is very simple. You learn how to attract agents, put them on the right presentations, whether you do it live or not, learn how to answer questions or bring people to answer questions. And as agents come here, you put them in a specific chart. Now, this is a secondary chart to what Rob Flick talked about, calling the wealth chart. If you've not seen the presentation of the wealth chart, I highly recommend you go to YouTube, put Rob Flick and wealth chart, and understand everybody that's built any size organization here in the rev share group at eXp over the last 7 years has used the wealth chart. Well, the second chart is called the Freedom Chart. It's the one we've designed over the last month. It looks just like this, but it fixates you on a specific number. And so I want you to see what it looks like. There's a variation. If you don't have one of these, reach out to me personally and we will talk about it. Reach out to me by workplace chat and I'll respond. But the way it works is an interactive chart. Look at the bottom. When you bring 6 capping agents, you'll offset your cap. You'll make $16,800. 6 capping agents. The reason we know that, watch the chart. Watch. 1, 2, you put the names of the capping agent as they come in. If they capped last year, expect them to cap this year. That's 6 agents. You're now making 16.8. If they each bring their best friend, and you'll put their names here, you'll know in advance how much money you're making this year. If they're capping agents, you're now making $36,000. And by the way, if you bring 6 and you help them each offset their cap by each bringing 6, I'm not going to go through all the check marks, but you'll put in $132,000 a year. And it is passive and it is residual if they stay at eXp selling capping amount. If they sell less than cap, of course, you'll make a little less. But this is a specific chart. So Melissa and Jeff and Oscar and Stephanie, all of you, anytime you recruit a capping agent frontline to you, you can put them in this chart with some assurance of the kind of money you're going to make. The difference here as I close is this. We've been aiming at everyone. And we bring them in and we say, okay, there's one in my rev share group, but what does that mean? Now you have a chart that actually monetizes what we're doing. For those of you that want to commit to that sort of thing, again, reach out to me on Workplace Chat. You've got my name, Eric Golden. Let's have a short conversation about it. I want to connect you to your upline leader because you'll work with them on recruiting, whether it be on the commercial side or on the residential side. As I close, does anybody have any questions about what I just covered? Anybody? A question? Jump on, ask away, or pop it in the chat. If not, again, thank you, Stephanie, so much for what you've done. Anybody have a question?
Just real quick again, where's that chart at?
Just send me a workplace chat and we'll talk about it and I'll get you one.
Cool.
But you see the difference, Darren, right? Now you see, I'm going after 6. Who gets 6? That's 132,000. Doesn't matter whether I have 12 or 15. It doesn't matter whether I have part-timers. What matters is we have cappers. That's what the chart is designed for. People that sell either $16,000 or $20,000 in real estate, again, and get to the cap. It's not a bad idea to earn an extra 25% by sponsoring a commercial agent. It sounds good, and it could be good. It is a blue ocean, but it is something to learn how to do. Everybody, it's awesome having you on a Monday. Remember, your tips every morning, Your classes at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central every day. Workplace chat is there to help you for any of the communication. Your Workplace Freedom Team group is there to keep tabs of what we're doing. And freedomteamsupport.com is the public facing site for you to gather a whole bunch of information that you didn't know existed. Let's make eXp an awesome experience for us all. We'll see you next week. Thanks again, Steph.